Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the threeohtake, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the threeohtake, presented by SeatGeek. This is episode 476. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
Who's Kyle Corwin? I don't know who that is. Last I heard of that guy, he was hanging out in Virginia or something, you know?
It's like 60 degrees down or back home. Down here in Miami,
Yeah.
it's a cool 85.
Welcome to Miami.
Mr. Worldwide 305 Pitbull.
There it is. Did you see him? Is he there?
I didn't, but I'm about to see T-Pain tomorrow. No biggie.
Wait, really?
Any T-Pain fans out there? Yeah, he'll be the performer at the conference I'm at for my work. So that'll be sick.
Shout out the conference. What is it? What is this for? What is the conference for?
It's for Adobe. Just a bunch of creators down here, a bunch
Adobe
of podcasters.
Bringing in T-Pain.
Just bringing in T-Pain. No expenses spared.
T-Pain just shows up and it's just a bunch of white dudes with glasses.
It's a lot of nerds, if I'm being honest with you. You got podcasters around here, you got videographers, you got illustrators, graphic designers, all the like.
A lot of Kyles.
I'm honestly probably the minority, honestly. I'm like one of the few somewhat normal folks or normal people look down here.
Yeah.
There's
yeah. Is Elon's robot down there?
No.
No. That's too bad.
But I've been able to catch some games. Don't worry there.
Good.
And we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. You want to talk Mets Dodgers? A little bit of a check in. I know there's probably people wondering like, yo, why are you guys doing an LCS update so soon? There's only been one ALCS game. There's been 2 NLCS games. Well, would you just rather us not check in and just wait till next week?
Right.
You just want to wait. You want us to wait till the end? No, we're not going to do that. We're gonna talk about what's happened.
Nobody likes recaps.
Nobody likes recaps.
We didn't kind of a recap.
We didn't even recap the end of the NLDS.
We didn't. We had to make a prediction. 2 different predictions. 3 different predictions. 4 different predictions.
I think it was 4. I think
there was 4.
I think there was 4 different scenarios that had to play out or could have played out, and we had to make picks on all of them. But yeah, and back to my point though, there's only been 3 games, but I'd say a fair amount has happened.
A lot's happened.
A lot has happened. A lot of things we got to talk about. So let's get into it. Let's talk Mets and Dodgers. The aforementioned series with 2 games wrapped up. Game 1.
Whoa!
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it.
Bop! Just a little bop right in the mouth. Bop!
Little bop bop. Can I just go ahead and say it? Unless you're a Dodgers fan. Unless you were a Dodgers fan, not that enjoyable of a baseball game, if I'm being honest with you. And I got some kickback on social. Boy, did I get some kickback on social for that take. And I'm going, one, I'm not surprised. People just like to argue about anything and everything. But I'm going, people the problem was, here's the issue. They kept pointing to the fact that like this was such a historic outing for the Dodgers. It was their 3rd straight shutout. The scoreless inning streak that they matched.
A lot of Dodger storylines, one would say. One could say that's pretty obvious in a 9-0 victory, but
right. But like you remove that element of it. Like if you're just like an average fan,
you want something entertaining. You want something close.
And maybe you're not all that closely tied to said storyline or said postseason feat or record or whatever it may be. You don't really care. You just want some good baseball, and it wasn't really that good a baseball game. It's 9-0 postseason game.
Yeah.
With that said, though, that and just hear me. That's not me complaining about the game itself. I mean, it's a postseason game. I'm going to watch postseason baseball regardless. I'm just saying we've seen more entertaining games. That's all I'm going to say. The game itself, though, I mean, like you said, a little bop from the Dodgers. That was
right in the mouth, right away.
That was big. When this game kind of wrapped up, and not that I'm skipping ahead to the end already, but after game 1 was in the books, where was your head at with the whole Mets magic?
Honestly, I felt like it was dampened a little bit. Is that a word?
Dampened?
No R.
You're combining
tampered and dampened.
Tampered and dampened. Tampened. Yeah, it was tampened.
I like dampered.
Dampered.
I feel like that's a word.
Damper's not.
I don't know. That's a tough one. Yeah, I'll be honest. Just
you're saying...
I'm not gonna play the hindsight game because that's not fair. You asked my reaction after game 1, before game 2 happened. My reaction was like
on something.
Yeah, see, it was dampered. You asked what the Mets magic was
that's
like.
A weird that when people ask for it in a sentence, it's just like a weird thing. Like I kind of put a damper on it, not like it was dampered. It just sounded weird. It didn't scratch the brain right. That's all. Anyway, continue.
Okay.
Carry on.
I
sorry, the heat's getting to me down here.
Felt like it was just maybe a little maybe it's run its course. I honestly think that there was a little bit of like a spillover from the Dodgers Padres series. Not that the Phillies didn't put up a fight, but that they didn't really put up a fight. You know what I mean? Like they didn't really. You didn't get the best version of the Phillies, and the Mets. I felt like getting through that. Coming into they're hot, but coming into a Dodger team that's just literally fending off the San Diego Wolves. You know what I mean? Like the Padres were that was a great series. That was you came out of that battle beat up, bloody, bruised, but you proven. You know what I mean? It's like with that, those Spartans in 300 where you go out and live with the Wolves when you're 5 years old, then come back and you're a man. That's what the Dodgers came back as. They came back as a man. And the Mets were whoa, And Kodai Senga didn't look great. Did not look great. Looked pretty rough. And
inning in the third, 3 earned, 4 walks.
He's still figuring it out. I think that's so hard for Mets fans to wrap their mind around. And for baseball fans to remember that this guy would probably still be doing rehab starts if this was a normally scheduled thing. So he's having to figure things out in the postseason against a team that just came out of a super emotional victory, So I'm not surprised with the outcome of game 1. I think where was I want to say it was the 3rd or 4th inning. I think the Dodgers were up 6. And then the Mets had a couple knocks. It was something weird. I don't remember exactly who. I do remember Winker. It was a knock to Kike playing center. Winker rounds second super hard, kind of acts like he's going to third, then he gets stuck in the middle and does a little hesitation. Kike throws behind him at second and just gets him a little out of whack.
No man's land. Yeah.
And it felt like that was the typical Mets moments in games that they're behind. They start to get a little groove back, they string a little something back, they get a punch in, A lot of these series have been like all of a sudden it's a tie game, but it felt like there could have been something there. And then Kike in the postseason, I think Kike and Giancarlo Stanton are like,
it's a mystery.
Like,
it's like the eighth
only
wonder of the world.
October. It's just like October, they're Hall of Famers. But yeah, that was that moment where I was like, interesting. You know, they were down a bunch. Why is Winker being like overly aggressive and then hesitates? So that was an interesting moment, I thought.
Against, mind you, apparently the greatest pitching staff ever assembled as of late. This was the entire thing, dude? Coming into the postseason, or really even before that. I mean, I won't go as far as say as like second half. I mean, I think it really got time to hit the panic button with the state of their staff, maybe like the last month of the season. But this was the talking point. It's like, we know what this offense is capable of doing. And even with like a banged up Freddie Freeman, who's been just like going through it.
He's been tough in it.
We knew that the offense was going to be fine, but the pitching, it was like, you just don't have any pitching. And people keep going like, what's up with all the Dodger hate? Like, what's up with the anti-Dodger sentiment with these picks and with these posts on social? It came down to pitching. This is why I didn't pick the Dodgers over the Padres. It's why I didn't pick the Dodgers over the Mets. But apparently that doesn't matter. Apparently they're just going to string together one of the best, prior to game 2, one of the best 3-game stretches you possibly could.
Tied a record?
That's what I'm saying. And anybody who said they saw this coming, you're lying through your teeth. Nobody saw this coming. That's the frustrating part. But I say frustrating because it's like I have to defend my reasoning when this is what everybody was saying. Like, everybody was like, the Dodgers need help on that side of the ball, but they're like, no, we're good. Matter of fact, we're gonna go set some records while we're at it, and I don't know. I mean, obviously, it didn't necessarily translate to game 2 of the series. Talk a little pop from the Mets right there in game 2, courtesy of Mark Vientos, who
rough game one, and answered. I think he had 3 punchies in game 1, so came back with a vengeance.
I don't know if you've seen some of these numbers floating around on Vientos, dude. You remember that? Was that 15 with Daniel Murphy? He's in like.
Oh, really?
He's like in Daniel Murphy air right now.
Ooh.
In fact, I'm pretty sure. Hold on, let me pull it up here. Make sure
that's a throwback name.
How about that? Where are we at here?
How about that? Is that still a thing? Probably not.
I literally had it. I can't seem to find it, but it was about the RBIs he had, comparative to Daniel Murphy back in 2015. And if you recall, like that's the moment that's like that stretch of that postseason that Mets fans recall so easily because of how dominant he was. And if you don't recall just what kind of planet Daniel Murphy was on, you need to go back and look at the numbers. Trying to find.
Oh, yeah. With 11 RBIs already this postseason, Vientos has matched Daniel Murphy's total from 2015. He's one shy of the Mets record of 12, which was Curtis Granderson, as well as John Olerud. Talk about a throwback name in 1999.
From 99, yep.
And there's a lot of baseball left. Potentially.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's a good category, dude. That's a good
It's a good group to be hanging out with. Those are some big names. So
for those who aren't paying all that close attention to Mark Vientos, which I don't know how you couldn't be, because he's serving as a difference maker in more games than not at this point on this run for the Mets. But if you're not paying attention, you need to lock it in. They need to start putting up some Mark Vientoses up in like 6 batter alerts on these broadcasts, a la Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah,
because there's a good chance you're gonna see some Marky magic.
Yeah, dude. I think it does start with, unfortunately. I mean, not unfortunately. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a Mets fan, okay? So maybe it is unfortunate for some people. But, like, Lindor just always seems to be the eye of the storm. He just always seems to, you know what I mean? Like, get shut out, Dodgers tie a record, and then bop! Leadoff home run. And it's just like immediately jump starts and gets things going. I mean, most of this stuff, what'd they put up? 6 through 2? Put everything up in 2.
Was it 6 through 2?
So,
yeah, it was 6 through 2. Yeah,
that's an immediate response. It's an immediate answer.
Well,
and it starts with that.
On the Lindor thing, and kind of tying it back to the Vientos thing, I gotta bring Mark Vientos back down to earth a little bit, because I don't know if you saw his
you were
comments.
The one just complimenting it.
I know. I'm saying, like, I have to bring Mark Vientos back down to earth, even though I was the one that just
built him up. You built him up. You're gonna bring him back down.
I gotta tear him back down a little bit. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
You started this.
Bring him up.
You're also
bring him down.
Okay. Yeah. Bold move.
It's all about ebb and flow, a little yin and yang, equilibrium.
Humble him right now. What do you got?
The comments after the game, where he was talking about.
Is this bulletin board material? What do we
got?
got?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. But it was just like a strange narrative to sort of run with. But he talked about. I saw the Jordan memes floating around. I'm like, what is this about? And I look into it. And I'm like, okay, I get why I'm seeing these now. But they were talking to him after the game. He said, because they asked him, like, how'd you feel about being the guy at bat after they intentionally walk Lindor to load the bases? And he's like, to be honest, I took it personal. Mark, I know you're having a heck of a postseason. I know. For the reasons we just listed out. I'm still gonna take my chances with you over Francisco Lindor, buddy.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
To take it personal, that's just a baseball move. That's a business move. That's a common sense move. So for you to sit there and say I took it personal, you're probably the only person that was surprised by that, because everybody saw that coming.
Big time. 100% agree.
Just bring them down a little bit. It's all right.
Yeah. Yeah. This is it just overall about the game. I think what was excellent about Flaherty in game 1 was that it was able to conserve and make this game 2 bullpen game. It was happening anyway, but this bullpen game for the Dodgers a possibility. My issue is, and I don't think I'm crazy for feeling this way. I don't know if I want to put all my cards on the table this early in the series. So just say, here's all my weapons. You're going to see it right away, and you're going to see it throughout the series. And I get that, like, they don't have a ton of options. They don't have much to work with. But, like, at the end of this series, when this starts getting into game 5, game 6, maybe even game 7, and the Mets hitters are seeing your relievers for the 4th or 5th time at that point, like, that's going to show up. That's going to, when a guy gets 3-4 ABs against a reliever in a week, that's going to play a role. That's going to play a factor.
No, that's a great point. And for the people that aren't necessarily watching these arms that are making appearances night in and night out, and then they get to the end of the series, and the Mets, just hypothetically, for example, they have a big moment. They string together some late inning magic. People go, "Whoa, the Mets are back at it again." To your point, this was they laid the foundation for this by forcing the Dodgers' hand of throwing. I mean, it wasn't even they're not even really forcing the hand of the Dodgers. This is just kind of where the Dodgers are at with health and personnel and all that. But I mean, when you bop some guys around, I mean, yeah, it kind of accelerates that process a little bit. But when you see these things happen late in a series, it's not always, but a lot of time it's because you're able to force these guys into game action early, so then you accumulate those ABs
100%. This is how you win series
in those early games. And then you get to the end of the series, and then the Mets are coming back in the ninth, and you go, how did that happen? Well, it's because they saw your late inning guys earlier in the series.
Yeah. And as great as the Dodgers bullpen has been for this stretch, that's it. Everyone kind of limps to the finish line. That's how baseball is at this time of year. So it's going to be an interesting story.
I mean, I don't want to be too reactionary because we just got done. I mean, that bullpen game that Brazier started, game 4 of the DS against the Padres, like just lights out.
Yeah,
literally put up a 0.
It's true.
So, like, I don't want to sit here and say the same.
I get
same mixture of.
I get
of
it. I'm just saying this is a 7-game set versus a 5. It's very That's different true. There. What was I gonna say? Dang it! I had a good thought. I had another good thought. Oh, it was something totally off topic. Not that off topic, technically. Did you see that crazy Ohtani runners in scoring position stat?
Dude, he's hitting he's close to 850. Over his last 20 ABs.
What's going on? What is?
I feel like I keep drawing these. I feel like I keep drawing these parallels. Like people, like if you're closely watching, if you're just like a casual fan, regardless which side of the camp you're in,
this is super impressive.
That is hard to wrap your head around. Like you could be a 162 baseball fan. You could just be the most casual. But when that stat pops up on your screen, that's something where you're like, that's a typo.
I haven't seen the updated stat, but I think it was before game 2. It was 16 for his last 19 with runners in scoring position.
Yeah. 16 for 19, which I believe came out to 8.
That's
40
stupid.
Something. I don't know.
That's stupid. I think there's teams in the postseason that haven't even had that many hits
842
with runners in scoring position. That's nuts. That's different. He's an alien. He really is.
Tip of the cap to Sean Manaea. Sean Manaea continuing to be it's name that just steps up, takes the ball.
Big true.
And gives you quality innings.
Big true. Can we track this all the way back to the haircut? Can we run it back that far? Can we give it that much credit?
I'm sure it impacted it.
It's a big move.
I'm not gonna put all of his success on that.
Yeah.
But
it's a big move. Can't just ignore that.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more than just a coincidence.
Yeah. People didn't even recognize him. He does look good though. I think they've what was it? Who was on that call? Who was on that broadcast last series with the Phillies? Who's in that booth?
And the Mets, would that have been... Was that Fox? That would have been Fox. Because TBS had the American League. Was it not Joe Davis? Or no, Joe Davis would have been LA.
Yeah. Which is, I got a little piece of beef with that.
Man, who was on that call? Why am I blanking right now?
I'm struggling. Someone's yelling at us.
I mean, I can.
Anywho's, I think they were talking about how he's kind of dropped that angle down a little bit, and it's worked for him. And it's just like
was it you talking about Frank Core? Was Frank Core making this?
No, because he was TBS, but
yeah.
He was the Guardians Tigers series. He's now the Yankees Guardians series. He's in that with Darn.
Oh, it was Wainwright, wasn't it?
Wainwright, Wayno and AJ. Yep. It was one of those two. They talked about like the lane change with Manaea kind of dropping down a little bit. Been a huge factor, huge role. Sorry, I guess it wasn't even really that worth it to find it, but whatever. Yeah, Sean Manaea's look good, man. Like it's good ball. This is the point that, and I'm not trying to just be like a Met hater, even though I kind of am a Met hater. This is the point that I was curious to see if the magic will run out, is when you go, 2 7-game sets. It's different with 3 and 5 game sets. You got to prove yourself a little bit over 7. And you're going to see these starters potentially twice. Like it's going to be a big deal, similar to the way we saw the Tigers just hammer down Scooble to the point where, he got lit up in his last start for the Guardians to move on. It's like,
we didn't even talk about that game, by the way.
I know. We didn't even talk about it.
Of our last episode. What did I say before that start? I said, I'm not writing off Scooble, but how many times can you go to that well?
That's what I'm saying. Like
how many times?
And neither of these teams, like the Dodgers or the Mets, they don't have a very deep well when it comes to arms. When it comes to repeatable success, it's like, it's a good story of what Manaea is doing. It's a good story of what Severino's doing. But if you're gonna assume that Kodai Senga is giving you somewhere in the middle of between those two starts you've seen him so far, it's like,
better hope you're hitting that day.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see the length. I don't see the depth pitching wise for either team.
Well, game 3 is slated to be between Walker Buehler and Luis Severino. So that's kind of an encapsulation of exactly what you're talking about.
Walker Buehler, you got to be like pitching for some kind of. You're going to get $12 this offseason if you don't make a decent start, bro.
And you already know how I feel about Luis Severino this year. That's been well documented. So yeah. Look, I'm not trying to be a Dodger hater here, but I'm not going to go against what I've been saying this whole time about Luis Severino. I'm riding with the Mets in game 3.
Are you? All right. Fair enough.
Walker Buehler just has not consistently been able to prove himself as a legitimate threat to provide you the high quality output that he was giving you.
I know.
Well before this year.
Well, look, we're going to get into it here in a minute, but it's cold in New York.
Well, let's get into it. Let's talk
a little bit of a bigger ballpark in New York. So maybe Walker has some room to breathe there a little bit more.
It's possible. It's possible. Let's talk about it. Speaking of that cold weather, I nearly shed a tear when I turned on that Guards Yanks game and I see the rosy red cheeks and the mock turtlenecks. I'm going, ooh, this is October baseball, baby.
Yeah, blown in the hands. Ooh, the Letterman jackets in the crowd. I love it. I
will say I was a little confused, and not to bring up the Miami thing again, but like if I was watching this game, this first game between the Guards and Yanks back home, I'd have been like, okay, this makes sense.
Let's bundle up, yeah.
But I've been walking around these last 2 days. I mean, I got beads of sweat rolling down my back. It's so hot out here.
Whoa.
It's humid, man.
Whoa.
It's humid out here in Miami. You don't know about that humid East Coast life, but
I don't. It was still 102 today, so that's
that's dry heat though. It's dry heat. But this Guards Yanks game,
Yeah.
Hey, in case you didn't know, Taylor Swift was at the game. And I tell you what, that cracked me up because you could tell, dude, Major League Baseball was having a field day with. They were so giddy. They were like cutting to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce going like, oh, like, is this how we're supposed to do it? We cut to them like every 3 seconds. This is fun. This is fun, guys.
I think they're on the Fox payroll. I really think they're on the Fox payroll.
Well, no, this was TBS.
Oh, true. Maybe they're getting paid by all the networks.
Getting paid by somebody.
Yeah. Did you see her mistakenly cheer for the Yankees?
I did see that.
That was nice. I like that. Stupid. Just not a lot going on in that noggin, I think. Anywho's, good game. Good game. You know,
well, I mean, you can't have a song. You can't have a "Welcome to New York" song and then be caught pulling for the guards. You know?
Does she? She have a "Welcome to New York" song? I don't know.
They played it on the broadcast.
Oh, really?
That's what I'm saying. The broadcast was leaning into this hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about Taylor
Swift.
Swift.
And Kelce's from Cleveland, obviously. So, like, that's the whole point of them being there, I think.
Which I get and I respect.
And Spike Lee, can't stand the guy. He's so annoying. He's so obnoxious.
He's just there, man. He's going to be there till the day
always
he dies.
There. I know. Look, they mentioned it on the broadcast. I think Ron Darling did. 27 walks in the series against the Royals. Another 5 tonight, I believe. Maybe 6.
When I checked, it was 6, but there was like still 3 innings to go.
At a certain point.
Give me the total on that. Because like I said, last I checked, it was 6.
I'm going to find that for you.
I don't know. It may have capped at 6. It was a lot, though. A lot of wild pitches.
7 walks.
A lot of wild pitches. A lot of just careless, like take better care of the baseball.
Yeah, I agree. I for sure agree. And I'm not sitting here saying that the Yankees like dominated this game by any means. But I think at a certain point, this is what I told you was going to be a factor before the postseason started. The Yankees led the league in walks. They're very much back to like the old school, let's just get on base and see what happens. And it's kind of worked to this point. Their offense hasn't clicked. Nothing's really clicked offensively, except for Stanton. I know Soto got into one, smoked the ball up the middle.
I think you owe me an apology. You were giving me the side eye last episode when I said, is it time to consider the fact that maybe we're looking at a Captain Phillips situation where you've got Giancarlo Stanton kicking in the door, looking at Aaron Judge saying, I'm the captain now. I'm the captain now.
Stay hot.
What did Judge do tonight? Did he go 0-for? What did Stanton do? Hit one into the left center bleachers?
And you tell me that he looked bad. That first strikeout shouldn't have happened. I'm not concerned about that. It's good hacks. Like I'm telling you, he's coming out of this.
I saw a couple flyouts tonight.
Okay.
What do you? He's not squaring baseballs up. I mean, yeah, he may lean into one every now and then, but it's besides the point. It's besides the point. Well, as of right now, Giancarlo Stanton is the guy that's leading that offense. Well, I mean, Juan Soto's finding a way to drive in runs and get on base. But I'm saying in terms of like that all like just striking the fear of God into the pitcher, that's Giancarlo Stanton right now.
I know. It's kind of awesome. The man is a man amongst boys at times. When he gets in one, it can look ugly more often than not. But during that period of hot streak, he could have had potentially 2 or 3 tonight. Like he had just missed one. That first AB was sent to the moon. That Stephen Kwan caught in left field. He's on it. But my whole point to this conversation is the fact that like the Yankees haven't even really found their groove yet offensively. Excellent start from Rodon. kind of toned back the cockiness and burning out through 2 innings, which was
Very
nice
much
to
so.
see. Just kind of calm, go about your business. A lot of swings and misses. I think he had 18, 19 swing and misses. Like that's crazy.
I think
9 punches.
May have gotten up to 20, I thought I saw.
It's a good start. It's a good start. Rizzo having some hacks that like makes you think that the hand is feeling pretty decent. So yeah. Big Luke Weaver. I think we gotta start giving some love, dude. This is.
I was gonna ask you about him. How does where's your head at in terms of having peace of mind when you see Weaver start to get loose in the pen with a lead?
It feels good. It feels really good. Like it's. I think he's got a really cool story for those who aren't familiar. Like he's a failed starter, and was DFA'd, and it's like he's figured it out. They talked about it on the broadcast tonight. He has like athleticism on the field as well. He holds runners really well, which most closers don't do. He's not super slow to the plate. He's athletic off the mound and any kind of defensively, but like the mentality he has, he's kind of easy to root for. He's goofy, he's a little weird, but he's also like super confident, and he's doing his thing, man. I got the 8th inning, but the button being pressed for the 8th inning tonight. It made sense just because of how that was developing, and that to me felt like the save more than the 9th. When Jose Ramirez is up, there's 2 outs. Man, on first and third,
he was a tying run.
Yeah, like that's the biggest AB of the night, and weak contact to the right side, man. Like the fastball up, changeup down, it plays. It really plays. You can tell he's got a fastball that has like some life to it that probably plays up, even though it's only 95, 96. I think it plays up higher. So he's dope.
Dude, you want to see something eerie? Look at Luke Weaver's build compared to early Mo, like young Mo. Dude, it's wild.
Yeah,
like
it's true.
Very,
like wiry.
very similar builds right now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Doing it in different styles, different ways. But I mean, Clay Holmes just, if they end up pulling all this off and then they hoist the trophy, like I don't want to hear another Yankee fan complain about that guy. Like I can't imagine how hard that is to be a closer, to be dominant, to be an all-star, to be league leader in multiple categories. At that point, he was dominating. Like at the first half of the year, he was insane. It's impressive for somebody to like take that, wear that on the chin, and figure out a different role and be like an integral piece to success for their bullpen. And what you mentioned about the Dodgers earlier, like the 2 teams that we were most worried about pitching wise have looked really good pitching. Really, really good. The Yankees just gave up the bullpen just gave up their first run of the postseason tonight. It's pretty impressive.
Tonight. Yeah, man. I mean, it's a good point. Some storylines certainly being flipped on their head in real time, which I mean is always cool to see. I mean, I know people are just going to hate teams just to hate teams, and
that's the way it is.
Whether it's a rival or just a team that you just don't want to see succeed in the postseason, regardless of that, it from a baseball fan perspective, it's cool to see storylines, narratives rather, to see those flipped on their heads.
Yeah,
when you have just about every reason to believe something's going to go a certain way, such as the Dodgers rotation or really staff as a whole. Being just a massive question mark coming into the postseason, and then they come in and put like we said, they string together 3 consecutive shutouts, and outside of, like we said, outside of game 2, have looked pretty strong, and then with, like you said, with the Yankees,
Flippy that scrippy.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Anything else we got? Like you said, there's only, if you're following these games, you obviously know there's only one game so far in the LCS. Game 2 on Tuesday. I'm getting my days mixed up. Tuesday night.
Travel day for the NL side of things.
Correct.
Then vice versa Wednesday.
Next you'll hear from us should be Thursday night.
Yep.
You got anything else on this series?
It's a long one. After the win tonight, Paige was like, "You don't look that happy." And I'm like, 7-game set's a little different. There's a lot of baseball left. A lot of things can happen. Game 1s don't mean as much as they mean in a 5-game set. So 7 games is just, I think people forget until it gets to this point, the postseason. Just gotta be patient.
I think I saw the stat today, and I can never remember how it translates from 5-game set to 7-game set, but I believe the stat I saw today was reflective of 7-game sets, and I believe it said the team that wins the first game goes on to win the series 66% of the time.
Yeah, because the 5-game set was like 78% of the time. It was like in the 70s. So, yeah. So it's still an advantage, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of baseball left. All 4 teams are very good. That's why they're in this position. So you said it. The Scrippies can be flippied at any time. So just gotta look out, I'm happy, but I'm not comfortable by any means. Yeah.
Well, get comfy for these next couple days of game action, and we will catch up with you guys Thursday night, talking more LCS action, and then we will bring it on home to the World Series with a recap. Well, maybe not. We'll see where the series are at. It may or may not be a recap. We'll see. But you'll be hearing from us next Thursday, and then from after that, who knows?
Curveballs. Don't chase them.
We love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.